We have a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Southbourne has suddenly woken up and there are rays galore coming out, which pretty much means I'm spending every waking minute of my life renewing my addiction to ray fishing. So yeah, sorry if the videos are going to get repetitive, but I just love them. I spent most of the summer being absolutely addicted to bream fishing, didn't I? And did that get a bit repetitive? Just trying to find the end of my bait needle here. Don't get old. I'll obviously edit that out, so I look like a true professional. Anyway, yes, what did I say? Yeah, so I spent all summer being addicted to bream fishing, just couldn't leave it alone. Absolutely had a wonderful time. Milford was so good to me. Some really good sized bream, and lots of them. And just as that sort of come to the stage where the weather's not really conducive for necessarily being down there, they are still there by the way, just as that happened, Southbourne just suddenly switched on. And I've started catching loads of rays again, and I absolutely love it. This is going to be my 4th session. My last 3 sessions I had 4 rays, 3 rays, 3 rays, I think, possibly, something like that. And tonight, hopefully, we'll follow that suit. Nothing unusual for tonight. I could lie and say I'm down here to do a repeat of my famous long range versus short range ray video. We'll do a challenge. But to be honest, it's Thursday night, it's after work. I've just come fishing down Southbourne. If you have a little look at the rig, nothing complicated, nothing unusual here. First thing is I'm fishing one rig at probably about 60 yards. So we've got a horrible big dumping swell, which I hate. It's one of my least favourite conditions down here. So I've got a horrible big dumping swell. It's breaking over the bar. And it's causing quite a big swell, or a wave crashing in really close as well. So sometimes I fish down here sort of 30-40 yards out. Because of the big roll, just put it a little bit further, so maybe that sort of 60-70 yard mark. A good old-fashioned overhead thump with a 3/8 flapper basically. And on the other rod, I'm going to do bagnall bar, and I'm going to clip it and whack it as far as I possibly can, and we'll get over the top of that bar and we'll see if there's anything to the side of the bar. It's always fascinating when I do this. I always sort of like try and make a mental note of A, the quantity, do I catch more in, more out, and B, the size. Because you know, so many people think, well, you've got to cast far to catch the big ones. Utter rubbish, you don't at all. But it is interesting, sometimes, some nights they're out, some nights they're in. This is rig number 1. This is my favourite rig in the world. Wow, I don't know. That and the bagnall bar, both my favourite rigs really. 3/8 flapper. On this 3/8 flapper, I have got an 060 rig body. So I've upped it slightly from my 050, so I can just whack on a 6 ounce and beat the heck out of it if I want to. I've got 3 foot snoods, 2s will probably be fine as well, so 2 or 3 foot snoods. And I've got size 1 Camazam B950Us on. On the bottom, I've got a bit of squid guts. So I've done some squid fishing last week. I've done some, that's good English, wasn't it? I did a little bit of squid fishing last week, and I got a load of fresh English squid. So I've got some squid guts with me. On the middle snood, again 3 foot, single small sandhill. And on the top snood, again 3 foot, another single small sandhill. So it's a 3/8 flapper, 2 up, 1 down configuration, 3 foot snood, so the whole body is about 6 foot. And that's pretty much my favourite go-to fishing rig for many, 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 many things. I've just tweaked it slightly tonight to fish for the rays. I've got 050, sorry, on the snoods, 050 Maxima Chameleon. I love 050. So it gets to about this time of year when all of a sudden all my fishing becomes mostly nighttime fishing, and certainly fishing for things like rays and dogs and all that sort of stuff. It becomes very non-technical, so I get to ditch all the super light, fancy Japanese fluorocarbons and just stick to good old-fashioned 050 Maxima. I love it. It's just the best line in the world. But there we go, that's rig number 1. That's going to get flopped out 60, 70-ish yards. Oh. Is that fish or weed? Ooh, what do you reckon? We've got a big dumping swell. There has been some floating weed around. I think if it was weed, it'd be going all the time, wouldn't it? Be a fishy fish. Could be a fishy fish. Yeah, that's got to be a fish, right? Well, let's have it in. Because even if it is weed, I don't really want it to be dragging me around. Oh. Ooh. Suspiciously heavy. There we go. We've got to move in. This fish is not a record breaker. If it's weed, it's not too much. Should we go down? Should we go down together? Come on, guys. Whatever it is, it's going to be quite entertaining trying to surf it in tonight. If you are fishing a big swell like this, when the sort of backwash goes like that, don't try and drag whatever it is you've got on against the backwash. Just let it go and then bring it in on the next wave in. Oh, there we go. It's a ray. It's a tiny little ray. Tiny little ray gave that big bite. Huh. There we go. First cast on the 3 at flapper. I'd like to say close range, but I give it a bit of a lump because of the swell. So medium range. That's sort of 60 yards. Nice little small-eyed ray to start the session. Only a bava though. Let's hope there's a few bigger ones around. Ooh, right. Rig number 2 is, of course, the Bagnall bar. So this thing is designed to cast a single bait as far as you possibly can throw it. There is no better rig for casting a single bait, and for this sort of fishing down here, it's brilliant. So I can whack on a big old lump of lead, strap on a single sand eel, and give it the big kahoonie and get it out over the top of that sandbar. I've always said, one of my favourite little sayings, I'd rather have 1 hook in the right place than 3 hooks in the wrong place. So again, 050 Maxima. I've actually got a bit of a mismatch actually. This Bagnall bar, I've got a size 1 Camelzam B950U. On my other one, I've got a size 2.0, a beast, with a pennel setup with a Tronics Pro T25 circle hook, octopus circle. That's the top of my pennel. So I'm just going to change slightly. So on this one, we're going to do just single small sand eel, and on the 2.0 pennel version, I'm going to fish around, see if there's an ever so slightly larger sand eel. Not a large sand eel, by the way. Do not use large baits. Just a slightly large sand eel maybe, or I'll strap a bit of squid alongside a nice small one. So make it just a slightly bulkier, fatter bait. So because the bait is fatter, I just need to make my hook a little bit bigger. Always match your hooks to the bait you're using. There we go. And that's why I love the size 1s, because those little small sand eels just perfectly presented on that. I have gone completely slack on my right hand rod there, on the flapper rod. So we'll clip this one up very quickly and see if that's a fish or a lump of weed. Hopefully the first one. There we go. 1 times Bagnall bar, all clipped up, ready to launch to the moon. Well, there we go. That is as slack as they come, and it's headed off in that direction. So let's have a look, see if that's fish or weed. Bit of weight on, but could be either, wouldn't it? What have we got? There we go. 2 and 2 casts on the flapper doing the business tonight. I'd like to say that's ever so slightly larger than the first one, but I can't exactly claim that as being a big ray, can I? There we go. Oh god, I'm tripping over my own rig. 1 time small-eyed ray, number 2s for the evening. Lovely things. Love them to pieces. And they do genuinely have small eyes. It's the reason they're called small-eyed, you know. Right, let's go and put her back. Right, there we go, that's that one back in the water. So, keeping my rod tips quite high tonight, and I've actually brought my cups with me, just in case I need to put them much higher, because there's only weed in the edge. Sometimes you get those big rafts of weed floating around. So if there is weed in the edge, I'll get my rod right up high on my tripod and try and keep the line out of that water in the edge. Now, this one, my distance rod has gone miles down that direction. I suspect, probably not because it's been taken down by a fish, more because of the big ground swell where it's only a couple of hours past low, crashing over the bar, breaking over the bar. I suspect it's possibly just lifted my rig and everything up and taken it off down there. So we'll bring that one in as well. Just wipe the ray slime off my hands first. That's miles down there. I don't know, it could be a fish actually. Let me go and get it, whatever it is. Nope, no fishy at range. A little bit of weed. I think mostly just bounced out on the swell. Good start to the session, guys. 2 fish and 2 casts. So the last couple of years, I've quite clearly had a bit of a bream addiction and ray addiction, haven't I? I'll say couple. A few more than that, obviously. Mullet. Let's add mullet into that. There you go. That's my 3 big fish, isn't it? Mullet, bream, and rays consume a lot of my fishing. What are your favourite species to target? Is there more than one? Does it change as the season changes, like mine does? Whack it in the comments. Tell me what your favourite species to target are. I should spend more time bass fishing. And now I do spend some time bass fishing. So I've come down the beach tonight in one of our best bass times of year for the open coast. The size of the bass coming out at the minute are really impressive. There's plenty in the sort of 4 to 8 pound bracket being recorded most days, which is amazing. So what am I doing? Ray fishing. I should at least put 1 rod in on the bass and 1 rod out for the rays. Should mix it up a little bit, shouldn't I? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe if I don't get anything at range, I'll give it an hour and a half. Don't plan on being here much longer than about 3 hours tonight. Hour and a half in. If there's nothing at range, I'll switch that rod over to a bass rig. I'll save one of those really big squid heads I've got. One of these big lumps of things. And I'll switch over and just put that on an earth rig and chuck it in the gutter. Because I still haven't had a double before anybody asks. I don't know how I've avoided them all my life. Squid guts are by far one of the best baits you can use. So when I do my squid fishing, the arms and tentacles and the body gets eaten, and then the guts and the head around the eyeballs, and interestingly the wings, they all get saved for bait. So I waste nothing with squid. Actually, that's a lie. I don't use the quill, I don't use it as bait, and I don't eat it, and I don't eat or use as bait the beak. So the quill and the beak are the only bits of the squid that go to waste. Every other part of it gets used. Did you know squid have 2 tentacles and 8 arms? There you go. Fascinating. This is a new feature to my channel, Learn with Tom. I will educate you. Might be useful in a pub quiz one day. Well, 20 minutes is up. Let's bring the flapper in. Yeah. Peaked too soon, guys. Nothing. I tell you what is weird. We're coming to the back end of October and I haven't seen a single whiting yet. I would say if you're doing this style of fishing, if you're coming down here for the rays, you're going to do the same as I do, where you do sort of a bagnall bar on a single bait out at range and then a 3 at flapper closer in. I tend to work on half hour on the distance rod maximum and sort of 20 minutes on the close range flapper. You could also leave it half hour, to be honest. I don't really know why I work a little bit quicker on the flapper, but I just do tend to. Obviously, in an ideal world, you'll catch a fish much quicker than that. And every 10 minutes you'll be hauling in. But even on those quiet nights, even when there's nothing really happening, try to resist the urge of going, and don't go any longer than half an hour with baits. You might have a fish on there, you've missed the bite. You might have lost your bait, it might be tangled up, it might be eaten by crabs. So half an hour is a good sort of turnaround time on ray baits, I think. Remember when you're elasticating your bait up, not to pull the elastic really tight. You don't want to be cheese wiring that bait off. You don't want to be cutting it in half. Push that circle through the top of the bait. There we go. Such a lovely bait. I love a sand eel and squid wrap. I have such confidence with it. I'll tell you what, it's chilly. First time in a while I felt cold. I've got layers on tonight as well. Still, it's a beautiful clear sky. All the rain and horrendous weather we had during the day has cleared off. I can see the stars. The wind's in a sort of northwest position, so I'm sheltered from the cliff. Which is actually a good point. Try and remember, wind direction is probably more important than wind speed. Awful lot of people didn't fish today because it's blowing a force 5, gusting 6s, that sort of thing. But if it's kind of straight over your head, it doesn't really matter. We're having to abandon the Bagnall bar. The distance rod is getting the boot. I just can't hold bottom out there. I think that big swell crashing over the bar was just dislodging everything, so. Bring this in before I lose it around the end of the groin. And then I've got an earth with a big squid head on it. I'll stick that close in. Yeah, that's frustrating. Baits are coming back good, but there's hardly any weed as well. It's just the power of that surge, that big groundswell. Never mind. Let's abandon that tactic. And we'll have a go at this tactic instead. So, earth rig, 6-0 hook, great big lump of a squid head just hooked on willy-nilly. I mean, that's terrible bait presentation. I've put very little effort into that. But there we go. Give that a little floplet. This will probably bounce around like a kid on a trampoline, but hopefully if a bass picks it up, we'll know about it. Let me set my drag, just in case. Got a bit of an irritating situation going on. That swell is getting bigger and bigger as the tide's building. I keep getting chased back up the beach. Yeah, not making fishing incredibly easy. I think it keeps burying my rigs in the sand as well. No fishies on that one. Absolutely immaculate baits as well. Just about my least favourite conditions, these, unfortunately. So annoying as well, because it's a beautiful evening, barely a breath of wind. But that swell is just growing and growing. I'd actually rather it was flat, calm, gin clear, northeasterly winds. Alright, the fishing might be slower, but it's a lot easier, and you don't get washed off the beach. Pesky groundswell. Really does affect this bay, unfortunately. And like I said, it could be absolutely windless. It could be a beautiful evening. You just get this big groundswell crashing in. And I can see it out there, breaking over the top of the bar. Just never as confident. I never think the fish sort of come in over the top of the bar if it's breaking over the top like that. I'll give it another half hour. So what is the time? It's 9 o'clock. We're going for an hour and a half. I've had a couple of rays, I shouldn't complain. We'll see. I just got wiped out. Oh well, let's move right to the very top of the beach, shall we? God. Well, getting swamped out. Unfortunately, that's been the straw that's broken the camel's back. I'm going home. I picked everything up, started moving up top of the beach, and I realised that my hand towel's soaking wet, beach shelter's all wet and sandy. And you know what? That swell's just getting worse and worse and worse. I think I've got the potential to wash all the way to the very top of the beach, so I'm going to err on the side of caution and beat a hasty retreat. Here we go. I think I got quite lucky. I do hate these conditions. I do not like a ground swell in the slightest bit. Never has fish well down Southbourne when we've got one on. He says, feeling a bit of weight on his line. Oh, don't do that. Don't have a fish on now, because now I just want to go. I want to stay. Might be weak. Oh, feels like a half decent ray actually. I clearly missed a bite whilst I was evacuating up the top of the beach there. Or is it a lump of weed? I don't know. Now it's moving now, look. I think I was just making a meal out of nothing there. Let's have a little turn around just in case. What was I saying? Let me carry on what I was saying. Whilst I'd make a meal out of this lump of weed that I'm going to pretend is a fish. Yeah, I think I got really lucky at the beginning, didn't I? With, oh, goodness me. No, we have got a fish on. Or have I just lost it? Oh, I think I just lost it. Ah, man. Oh. Wow. That wasn't what was pulling back, trust me. I did have something decent on there and I just lost it off in the... lost it off? That's good English. Lost it in the waves. Bottom hook gone. Ow, fiddlesticks. Okay, well. There we go. Tiny, tiny ray. Trust me, that wasn't giving the boom, boom, pump, pump. That is actually an undulate. I don't know how well that's going to come out. Can you see the markings? Only just about see them. And that is possibly the smallest undulate ray I have ever caught in my life. That is gorgeous. But there we go. And I lost something. It was always going to be difficult getting a fish in with this swell on and this backwash. Gave a boom, ping, gone. Never mind. Anyway, enough waffle. Let me just quickly throw this back. Yeah, so, where was I? Yeah, conditions are getting worse. I'm getting washed off the beach. It's going to be really difficult to land anything through this swell anyway, so I'm going to go home. I've had a lucky couple of hours really, because I've managed to catch 3 rays. Although if you glue them all together, they're still barely a ray. But there we go, never mind. A couple of hours after work, caught a couple of fish. Hopefully if the swell dies down in the next couple of days, I'll be back down here doing some proper ray fishing. I'll put a little bit more effort in, but there we go. Hope you enjoyed that one, and I shall catch you guys on the next one.